We left home as teenagers or in our early 20s for an unknown adventure. We loved our country enough to defend it and protect it with our own lives. We said goodbye to friends and families and everything we knew. We learned the basics, and then we scattered in the wind to the far corners of the earth. We found new friends and new family. We became brothers and sisters, regardless of color, race, or creed. We had plenty of good times and plenty of bad times. We didn't get enough sleep. We smoked and drank too much. We picked up both good and bad habits. We worked hard and played harder. We didn't earn a great wage. We experienced the happiness of mail call and the sadness of missing important events. We didn't know when or even if we were ever going to see home again. We grew up fast, and yet somehow we never grew up at all. We fought for our freedom as well as the freedom of others. Some of us saw actual combat and some of us didn't. Some of us saw the world and some of us didn't. Some of us dealt with the physical warfare, most of us dealt with psychological warfare. We have seen and experienced and dealt with things we can't fully describe or explain, as not all of our sacrifices were physical. We participated in time-honored ceremonies and rituals with each other, strengthening our bonds and camaraderie. We counted on each other to get our job done and sometimes to survive it at all. We have dealt with victory and tragedy. We have celebrated and mourned. We lost a few along the way. When our adventure was over, some of us went back home. Some of us started somewhere new, and some of us never came home at all. We have told amazing and hilarious stories of our exploits and adventures. We share an unspoken bond with each other that most people don't experience and few will understand. We speak highly of our own branch of service and poke fun at the other branches. We know, however, that if needed, we will be there for our brothers and sisters and stand together as one in a heartbeat. Being a veteran is something that had to be earned. It can never be taken away. It has no monetary value, but at the same time, it is a priceless gift. People see a veteran and they thank them for their service. When we see each other, we give that little upward head nod or slight smile, knowing that we have shared and experienced things that most people have not. So from myself to the rest of the veterans out there, I commend and thank you for all that you have done and sacrificed for our country. Try to remember the good times and make peace with the bad times. Share your stories, but most importantly, stand tall and proud, for you have earned the right to be called a veteran.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Gift of Giving. For those of you tuning in for the first time, this program features non-profits, foundations, 501c3s right here in the state of Nevada. This week we will be commemorating D-Day, and this show will be airing for the entire week of D-Day itself. D-Day was not a day that ended World War II, but it certainly changed the trajectory of World War II. Sadly, many Americans lost their lives on that day. In fact, more Americans lost their lives than any other nationality. This left behind families without spouses, fathers, sons, grandfathers, grandsons, uncles, cousins, nephews. They all felt the loss. This week, it's very appropriate that we have an organization on that deals with veterans and helps support veterans here in the state of Nevada. And it's also a resource guide, so if you're veterans outside of the state, please visit their website, which we'll get later on in the program. I'm very pleased to welcome as our guest, Purple Heart recipient, Ralph McNamara. He's the founder and president of Veterans Action Foundation. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for taking time out and being with us. Thank you for your service and thank you for what you're continuing to do for veterans.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It's a pleasure having you. So you actually founded this organization and you're the president. So would you explain what the mission of the organization does, the history of it, please?
Yes, we started the foundation in 2022.
Okay.
And we did it because we know there's a lot of veterans organizations out there. And we noticed that a lot of veterans organizations talk about helping veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to do something a little bit different. So we wanted to make sure that we did what we said and what we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that's why we put Veterans Action Foundation
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to anything else. Because actions speak louder than words.
That's
You can
true.
talk all day long about how you're going to help somebody, but unless you roll up your sleeves and actually do something to help them, means much more.
Yes.
So that's why we chose that kind of name for our organization.
Cool.
And the other part about it is, I'm the president and founder of this organization, the 501c3. But I'm also a member of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 730,
Mm-hmm.
which is a 501c19.
Okay.
So a 501c19 means you have to be a member and you have to have received the Purple Heart. So with those two conditions, it was very difficult for that order, to get any fundraising or donations because they were not a 501c3.
Yes.
So the commander asked who could start a 501c3 to support the Military Order of Purple Heart.
Gotcha.
So I raised my hand. We started it out, and we started just with the Military Order of the Purple Heart, but then we progressed to other 501c19s, like the Marine Corps League, the Women Veterans of Nevada, and others that don't have that designation. Because for some reason, if you're a company or a corporation and you're not a 501c3, they won't give you anything. And they won't give you grants and such. And those organizations that are not 501c3s, they still help veterans. They still do a really good,
yes,
down-to-earth job of helping veterans. So we wanted to make some kind of effort to funnel donations into those organizations. So that's why we have the Veterans Action Foundation. And we do this without any fee. If somebody donates $1,000 to the Purple Heart, $1,000 goes to the Purple Heart. If they donate $1,000 to the Women's Veterans of Nevada, $1,000 goes to them. Because this is not about us, it's about them. Helping them. And we also found out by doing this, we're actually building a village that'll actually help veterans. Because if we don't have something that can help a veteran, now we can go to the Purple Heart, or now we can go to the military, the Marine Corps League, or the veterans, Women Veterans of Nevada. So it actually builds the capability of us to actually do something for the veterans.
Good. That's amazing. And as you said, it's just really sort of snowballed and grown since you initially started it. Now, in addition to the Purple Hearts, the Women's Veterans of Nevada that you mentioned, you also provide services, and you're a terrific resource center. According to your website, you've got an amazing number of resources that you vetted, and we'll get into that in the next section. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the services you provide. First of all, you help relocate veterans with housing. What capacity or in what manner do you help veterans with relocating and housing? So
we do that with an outreach program that we will reach out to different realtors in the area, and we explain our mission, trying to help veterans transition from veteran life to military life, or veterans that are having a hard time. They need a place to stay. So we reach out to the local realtors, and they've been very, very helpful. They talk to the owners of property, and sometimes we can get veterans in there at a discount, and sometimes we can get them in there when they say it's full because of the situation. So it's like a partnership with them.
Yes.
And anything with a partnership works better than trying to do it yourself.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So we partner with them. And then we also partner with another organization that helps veterans that are homeless. They provide shelter with them. They provide um, finances, food, clothing. And they're a big organization. They partner with us, and that actually helps us help veterans. Because, like as I said earlier, if we don't have the resources, we have partners that will be able to do it. So the important thing is just getting the help to the veteran. And housing is very important because some of these houses are very hard to find, very expensive for the veteran. Um, but and also we want to make sure that we give a veteran a home that's capable of taking care of the home,
Yes.
that he doesn't have certain disabilities like dependency on alcohol, drugs, or
Yes.
mental illness, so that they can actually be an active member of society by taking
Gotcha.
charge of that.
Now, you mentioned about this organization you partner with. They help with food and clothing as well. And that's on your website. And is that, I was going to ask you about the food and clothing aspect. This is the organization you partnership with, or do you actually provide the clothing and food yourselves? Does
So
VAF actually provide the food and clothing?
what? Yes.
Or,
So it's kind of like a hybrid.
yes,
So
gotcha.
we
Okay,
have
makes sense.
yeah we have so we have churches that help us provide food and clothing. We have this organization that helps us provide it, but then we also have different stores, grocery stores they will have a whole shipment of food that expires in a certain time and they can't sell it fast enough, so they donate it. So we go to a
Gotcha.
church parking lot. They drive up the truck. We load up bags. The veterans and their families pull up, and we just fill their bags up, and they go on their
There you
way.
go.
Yeah, and then, but sometimes we do that not only for veterans, but we also do that for the homeless.
Cool. And then the other thing that you do is you help filing of the claims for benefits. And is that an arduous and complex task for veterans? Is there a lot of paperwork and red tape involved?
Well, with the government, there's always a lot of red tape. You know that. So
You said it, not me.
yeah. But the thing is, veterans they need help in filing these claims because they don't know all the regulations that the
Sure.
VA has put out. So we send our what we call our volunteers to training at the VA, so they know what forms to fill out, how to help the veteran navigate through all of this red tape. They're not what we call a veteran service office, but they do help. So they can't file the claim for them, but they can help them prepare the claim
Sure.
so that they can send it in themselves. And this is important because I'd like to mention that there's companies and attorneys offices out there that charge a great deal of money for veterans to do this when these services are available free, not only from us, but from the VFW, from the Nevada Department of Veterans Affairs, the American Legion. There's a number of organizations that do this for free. And so personally, I think that any organization that charges a veteran to get benefits that they earned on service is not doing a good job for the veteran.
No. I think you're providing a valuable service by helping fill out those forms and also by mentioning the organizations, the other organizations that will help veterans fill out those forms for nothing. It's a very valuable service. Hold that thought. We're going to be right back. Please stay with us, folks. We're going to take a brief sponsorship break. We'll be right back.
Budget deficits, national debt, presidential elections, government shutdowns, global conflicts in Europe, global conflicts in the Middle East, global pandemics, interest rates, rising inflation. Markets go up and markets go down for reasons nobody can control. Don't let the volatility of the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Your financial strategy can make all the difference. I'm Joshua Dowden. At Priority Wealth Partners, your goals are our goals. We believe people can live better lives with smart financial education and knowledge. We work closely with clients to match strategy with individual needs. Our personal financial strategies have helped investors accomplish their goals while reducing market volatility, and we can help you too. You've worked hard to get where you are now. Your financial plan should work hard for you in retirement. Conveniently located in downtown Summerlin, my name's Joshua Dowden. Call me today for a free consultation. 702-808-6513. That's 702-808-6513.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'd like to welcome back our guest today, Purple Heart medalist Ralph McNamara from Veterans Action Foundation. So in this segment, I'd like to talk about the resources. You have quite a comprehensive resource page, and these are referrals. I'm assuming that where you don't actually do the thing, but these are resources that you vetted, I'm assuming. Would you like to say how you vet these, or how you know that they're worthy and trustworthy organizations?
Yes, so we felt, the board and I felt that it was important to not only have a website that provides information, but provides resources that they can go to that we don't control, but are vetted through us. And so I guess every day we get 2 or 3 different requests to be a resource on our page.
Mhm.
So what we do is we send those requests to a board member who is actually a former Marine. So he does due diligence very well.
Huh?
And so he checks out every part of that website and of the person that requesting to be added to our resource list. So if it passed mustard, so to speak, then we add it. If it doesn't, we politely tell them thanks, but no thanks.
Okay.
But some of the things that we found out is these resources are something that, even though we don't provide, are necessary for the information of the veterans so that they can get the help they need or the assistance they need from that particular resource.
And you mentioned that, and there's a whole slew of referrals in different areas. So I'd like to just touch on a couple of them, because these resources are going to provide a valuable service for those who are looking for them. So the first one I noticed that I was really impressed with was your Survivor's Handbook. It's a 40-page booklet, and that Survivor's Handbook, it's a wealth of information out there, and it's free.
It is.
Correct? People can just download it and print it out?
Yes.
Would you like to talk a little bit about what's in that Survivor's Handbook?
Yes, so that Survivor's Handbook was created by the former commander of the Military Order of Purple Heart, Daniel Peterson, and one of our members, Richard Klein. And so what the importance of that Survivor's Guide is, we have found out that spouses of veterans that have passed have no idea what to do now. They don't know how to notify the VA. They don't know how to arrange for burial. They don't know what kind of compensation continues if the veteran passed away. So we go from A to Z in this particular document, so that the spouse of a veteran that passes has a guide that they can go, a checklist all the way down, what forms they need, the DD-214, who to notify, what they should do as far as arranging for burial. So it's a very important document for those spouses, even if the veteran is still alive, just to get that stuff prepared.
Yes.
Because we see, unfortunately, too many where none of that has taken place, and the poor spouse is left clueless, and in some cases in financial ruin, because none of that stuff was carried over.
Sure. That's it's a fantastic tool out there for any veterans out there that's lost. They can find so much information in this booklet. And ditto the other one, the Veterans Transition Guide. You've got a transition guide that's from transitioning from military life and back into civilian life.
Yes, that's a document we got from a partner organization, and that's very useful because when we help veterans, it's not just veterans that served and got out. We help veterans that are actually in, like at the National Guard, Nellis Air Force Base, Crease Air Force Base, because they're still veterans. They just haven't transitioned yet.
Yes.
Yeah, so we help them as much as we can because in our eyes, they're still veterans even though they're on active duty.
And there's also a referral on how to start a business. So that's a company that presumably, if a veteran wants to set up their own business, they will help them fill out the paperwork or what they need to do. Is that what that particular referral source does?
Yes, because we partnered with the Asian Chamber, the Henderson Chamber, the Latin Chamber, and Las Vegas Chamber, because they also have veteran businesses.
Yes.
So we partner with them for expertise. Plus, we also partnered with the Nevada State Business Economic Development people, so they can provide free assistance and stuff like that. And there's always some kind of connection or partner that we can send them to, not only to start a business, but to do a business plan, to help get financing, to do all the things they need to do. SBA, we work with the SBA. SBA has a great program where they can do training for free for not only veterans, but anybody who wants to start a business. But if you're just transitioning from active duty to military and you want to start to veteran status, if you want to start a business, sometimes you don't know where to go, how to go there.
Yes.
So we try to help them with our partner to make sure that they get all the information they need, and we don't charge them anything because it's a service.
Yes. And I'm assuming it's the same with military veterans college. This is for vets that want to go further education, I'm assuming.
Right. There's several universities that provide opportunities for veterans to either get a certain degree in a certain area that they may have different than their job in the military, and also to further their education. There was one veteran that was an aircraft mechanic, but he really loved computers, so he went back to school through one of these programs, and he got a master's degree in computer science, and now he's not only doing well, but he's happy.
Yeah. Wow. Now, veterans assisted living.
Yes. There's several different partners we have with that, and I mentioned a large partner that we dealt with before, and that's the Klein Foundation. They're very active. They're very veteran friendly. They help us and other veteran organizations a lot, and so we use them whenever we need to kind of placement or some kind of ability to get veteran into a house or residence or some kind of place where they need to go. Because I'll tell you a quick story. We had a veteran that was living in a truck with his wife and child.
Oh my!
So we had an opportunity to get him into one of the halfway houses, but he refused. So I said, "Well, why did you refuse?" He said, "I'm not taking my daughter and my wife into a place that has drug addicts, alcohols, and stuff like that." So what we did is we went out, reached out to the local hotels, and we got him a hotel, so he and his wife could go into a hotel at a reasonable rate that we would assist with. And so when he did that, he continued with his job, and now he has a home of his own.
Wow. That's a nice story to end this segment on. Please stay with us, folks. We're going to take another brief sponsorship break. We'll be right back.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Comes a triple yodel. Adi-yodelay, the-loo-lee-oh, the-lee-oh, oh-oh-wee.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'd like to welcome back our Purple Heart recipient and founder and president of Veterans Action Foundation, Ralph McNamara. Thank you for being with us. You were saying earlier that it does take a village, and you've built this network of organizations, all that can help. You've got many resources. There are several more resources out on the website that you can find. They help with resumes and all kinds of stuff. But I'd like to talk a little bit about some of your medical resources now, because you help people find a VA clinic or a hospital.
Yes.
That's one of your resources that's out there.
Yes, because we do that. It's very easy for us to do that because we're in contact with all the VA things.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the VA has a program called Community Care. Mm-hmm. So if the VA is unable to accept a quick appointment for you, they have the ability to refer you to a local community care partner, a physician, to take care of.
Yes, I saw that out there as well. It's a separate icon on your resource page, so it's nice you've got the both of them there. There's quite a few resources there that list mesothelioma. Is that a huge issue with veterans, mesothelioma?
Yes, so those links usually come from attorneys who are filing some kind of litigation for people that have the cancer from asbestos and stuff like that. So we vet them to make sure that they're reputable. And because in the Navy, asbestos was all over the place in ships. And if you were a mechanic in Army Marines, you had asbestos in the brakes and brake pads and stuff like that. So there was a lot of asbestos. As a matter of fact, another little story, my brother was in the Korean War. He died because of that, because of so much of the asbestos got into his lungs and was not curable anymore.
Wow. It's nice you got that number of resources out there to also help on that. Also, you have several numbers there for suicide prevention, and John's going to list those numbers on the screen for us because you've got quite a few there. There's you have your own Lifeline for Vets.
Well, just to be clear, we don't have our own. We again rely on partners who actually specify in those particular fields.
Oh,
Specialized.
Okay. Because there's a VA suicide hotline number that's on the screen. There's a national suicide hotline number and Stop Soldier Suicide. And then there's the NVF. NVF Lifeline for Vets. That's another number. And then there's a Veterans Crisis Line that you also have on your website.
Yes.
So these are all valuable numbers because I know that suicide is and PTSD is a huge issue with veterans.
It is a huge issue, and and it needs to be addressed. And my personal opinion is that veterans sometimes won't talk to anybody about what's going through what stage they're going through mentally, PTSD and stuff. And we need to make sure that they have a number just to talk to someone. I had a veteran the other day who said he can't stand it anymore. He's living with a father who's driving him crazy, and I said, I gave him the number. I said, please talk to someone, because I'm not a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be able to give him. So he called somebody to make sure that he could get that help.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, the father was diagnosed with a mental illness. So he had him committed so that he was separated from a father who was mentally ill, but that reduced his stress rather than try to take his life and get away from a problem when he could take a phone call and still get rid of his issue and stress, but also help his father as well.
Yes. I know sometimes when you say you're not a counselor, sometimes people just want somebody to listen.
True. True.
So you don't necessarily have to give advice to these individuals. They just want to vent, and somebody that will actually listen and pay attention.
That's true. Sometimes they just want an ear to vent in, but I wanted to make sure I didn't say anything wrong, and I wanted to make sure he knew the number.
Of course. Hopefully that people will use some of these lines if they find it necessary. There's nothing wrong with seeking out and getting help to get through these, because we've no idea what these people have been through when they're fighting in these wars and conflicts overseas. We haven't walked that path, so we don't know.
It's very important that they get some kind of counseling.
Yes, very important. So hope people watching will pick up on this and actually go out and seek the help and support that is available. Now, in VAF, do you have a paid staff, or are you all volunteers?
So our policy is we volunteer. Mm-hmm. So we help veterans from the heart, not from the wallet.
Okay. Well, that's a nice way of putting it. And so you're all volunteers. Do you have a strong network of core volunteers?
We have a small network of volunteers. We'd sure like to have more volunteers, especially help us to do a newsletter or do social media, and also go to the events, because some of the events that we do, it's probably not in your sheet, we support the 4 Veterans Treatment Courts. And a Veterans Treatment Court is a court, 2 in Las Vegas, 1 North Las Vegas, 1 in Henderson, that if a veteran gets into a minor misdemeanor situation, they have a choice. They can get sentenced for the offense, or they can sign up for the Veterans Treatment Court program. And that program is anywhere from 12 months to 18 months. It involves random drug testing, social counseling, volunteering. And once they graduate that course, then they get the certificate, and their misdemeanor charge is suspended if they keep out of trouble. And the success rate between those 4, the average is almost 95%.
Oh my.
Yeah, so it's a very good program.
That is good.
We support that very heavily. When they have graduation, we're there with drinks, food.
Mm-hmm.
We give them a $50 gift card from one of the grocery stores. We also tell them no alcohol, no cigarettes, so to make sure that they help. But it's a very good program. We also go once a month to the veterans home in Boulder City. We make sure that we serve them pizza, cookies, brownies, all the stuff they can't have but they love. And we have volunteers that do that, because the volunteers not only serve these goodies, but they actually talk to the veterans there and socialize with them. So, and they love the veterans there love to have the interaction.
So these volunteers, they don't have to be veterans themselves.
No, they're not. They're usually
No,
not.
okay, so they're usually not. That's nice. So as you said, that interaction. And finally, how did you get funded? I saw you have a lot of terrific sponsors on your programs, lots of large corporations, which is fantastic. Do you get any government grants or state grants or anything like that?
We haven't been fortunate enough to get any kind of grants yet because we don't have a grant writer, and it's kind of hard for me to do grant work because I'm not a professional.
Well, that's okay. That's
So
all right.
It's
So
mostly
you get it mainly sponsors and individual donations.
right. It's either donations or we reach out to go to the sponsors and offer them sponsorship. It's a very long process because we're a smaller organization and we only deal with the local veterans here in Nevada. So it's one of those things where it takes time to get recognized for what you're doing. And so we have a partnership with the city of Henderson, and then we serve with their. Henderson has a board, actually has a forum called the Henderson Veterans Forum. It was created by the mayor, Michelle Romero. She sits in on all the meetings with the veterans, listens to them, and works with their problems. She's very active in the community in Henderson, in helping veterans in all different kinds of stages. And in helping veterans, she gave our foundation 2 offices that we can help veterans with the claims in a city building.
Fantastic.
So we're very appreciative of that because we don't know any other city government that would do that to help veterans. So it's really something. It's really turned out to be a good program. And her husband, by the way, was a military policeman stationed in Germany, and I was stationed in Germany at the same time. So we have a good relationship. And Henderson is the first Purple Heart city. They built a Purple Heart Plaza, honoring all the Purple Heart members and all the veterans. You don't have to be a Purple Heart recipient to get a brick put in the plaza, to dedicate it to your husband, your brother, your sister, whatever that served in the military.
Wow.
So she's been very active.
Yes, very cool. Well, congratulations and thank you, City of Henderson. You know, your motto is "No veteran left behind," and I think you certainly live up to your motto, and you're performing a fantastic service with VAF. I'd like to thank you for being on the program today. Before you leave, would you like to share with our viewers the website address and phone number where people can reach out to you?
Yes, so our web address is vafnv.org, and you can email us at info@vafnv.org, or you can call us on 702-930-9354.
Thank you very much for that information. Let's hope that a lot of people will check you out and you'll be influencing more lives than you already have.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's been a pleasure having you. And thank you again for your service. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this program. I hope you will share it with any veterans that you know who may benefit from the services and resources this organization provides. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, Stephen at thegiftofgiving.vegas. I'd certainly love to hear from you. I'd like to thank also the show's producer and station owner, WWDBTV, for allowing me to host this program. And certainly I'd like to thank our sponsors, Pacific Coast Capital, Priority Wealth Partners, the Firelight Barn, Ralph John Champion, whose message you'll hear at the end of this program, and friends of the Gift of Giving. These are individual donors who wish to remain anonymous, but we couldn't have the program without them. Thank you again for tuning in and being with us. Hope you'll join us again next week. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.